welcome to my July TBR. This is Chicky Bean Loves Books. My name is Jenna, and I am in the process of moving. You're watching this video and all these books are on the shelf behind me and the sun is out and everything is lovely. I, in reality, while you're watching this video, am hurriedly packing my apartment because I am moving. And so I'm really excited to be moving, but also it means that I need to record this really early. So forgive me if during my July wrap up things look a little different. Right now I'm making my best guess as to what my TBR will be in July. So here I am, knowing that Jane Austen July is going to happen, but not knowing what the prompts are going to be. So I've just set aside 4 books that I'm going to keep, easy access to for the whole packing and moving process in honor of Jane Austen July. I don't know if they're going to fit any prompts or what the buddy read will be or anything like that. None of that's been announced yet while I am filming this. So my Jane Austen July stack might look different if I know what those prompts are by the time I need to pack these. Or maybe I'm just reading these 4 books in honor of Jane Austen and that's my participation for this particular year. We'll see. But the 4 books that I'm keeping out for easy access are, I want to show them in a certain order. Persuasion. I want to keep Persuasion out. This is not part of the book. This is a card. I want to keep Persuasion out and reread Persuasion because I also want to read Peter James Bowman's The Real Persuasion, Portrait of a Real-Life Jane Austen Heroine. So this is about the Bishop family, and apparently they have a very similar story to the fictional story in Persuasion. So I would like to read those in conjunction with each other. And then I've got Confessions of a Jane Austen Addict by Lori Vera Rigler. I've had this on my shelf for a really long time, and I've yet to read it. It's a time travel sort of thing. There are so many time travel books about Jane Austen. It's so funny to me. But we've got Confessions of a Jane Austen Addict, and it's a time travel book. And I would love to read it, finally. It's finally time. And then I also have this one. This I had on my TBR for March Mystery Madness, but didn't get to it. March is always an over-planned month for me because of March Mystery Madness and middle grade March. So I usually have like 2 25 book TBRs, and I didn't get to this one, and so I'm rolling it over into Jane Austen July. This is the first book in the Jane Austen mystery series. It's Jane and the Unpleasantness at Scargrave Manor by Stephanie Barron, and I would love to fall in love with this series. I hope that I do. We'll see. In addition to Jane Austen July, it is summertime, so there's all sorts of books that I would like to read because they have, summer vibes for me. Let's go over the nonfiction stack first. I'm going to start with The Land Beyond by Leon McCarran, 1,000 miles on foot through the heart of the Middle East. I've never been to the Middle East. I don't know anything really about the culture except for what I might see on TV or from reading religious texts. So I'm really interested to read this. I believe, what is that, Petra on the cover? I'm really interested to read this and find out what this man learned walking from, it says he started in Jerusalem, and he walks, I don't know, all the way through the Holy Land. It doesn't say where he stops. Starts in Jerusalem and he just walks through the entire thing. I believe he's a British man. So very curious about that. Then I have this little memoir. This is slice of life, feel good. It's called My Good Life in France, in Pursuit of the Rural Dream by Janine Marsh. And then I got The Year 1000, What Life Was Like at the Turn of the First Millennium, An Englishman's World by Robert Lacey and Danny Danziger. This is history, but it also feels like a travel book, maybe a time travel book. I am really excited to read this and find out what life was like in the year 1000. Then I have William Atkins' The Moor, A Journey into the English Wilderness. This just feels so summery to me. The only time I personally have been on the English moors was in the summer, and I'm just very drawn to that. It's my Bronte love that makes me romanticize it, I think. But I'm curious to know what it's like. And then I've got Nowhere Girl, a memoir of a fugitive childhood by Cheryl Diamond. This is a personal memoir of a girl who is now a woman who grew up in a family of criminals and had a bunch of false identities. And then as she gets older and she understands more about what her life is really like, she starts to realize that she may be part of something, against her will, but she may be part of something dangerous and criminal, and she may not even know who she actually is. So that sounds like a great summer read to me. Then I've got this one, which is really close to my heart. This is Levison Woods, Walking the Himalayas. And of course we know, because if you've been here before, you know I used to live there. And so I am really looking forward to seeing where he goes, what his impressions of the places and the people are, if he steps foot anywhere that I have been or lived. I'm just really excited to read this. That will be a great travel book. And then finally, for my nonfiction travel book type things, I've got Downton Shabby by Hopwood Dupree. One American's ultimate DIY adventure restoring his family's English castle. Does that not just sound amazing? I don't know anything about who Hopwood Dupree is. I know nothing about this person. If he's a person that everybody knows, I'm sorry, I don't. But I love the idea of a DIY rebuilding of a family castle, and I like the displacement aspect of it being an American in England. It just sounds fantastic to me. So great nonfiction summer reading. However, I also love a good romance and a good travel story and a good mystery too in the summer. So I have a stack of possible books to read. I am not claiming that I'm going to read all of these books. Let's make that clear this month. These are just books that I'm going to keep accessible because they're the ones that I would like to read in the month of July. We'll see what I actually get through. But here is a stack of books that I will keep accessible for the month of July because I think that they would make great fiction summer reads for me. So first I've got Helen Rolfe's The Little Village Library. Sometimes it takes a village to mend a broken heart. This just looks lovely. I don't need to know anything more than the words village, library, mend, and heart. That's all I need. I haven't read the back, just bought it based on the cover. Love the idea. This is one that I think a lot of people are familiar with. This is Float Plan by Trish Doller. Sometimes you have to lose your way to find what you're looking for. This just feels so summery to me. I've had it on my shelf for a little while. Haven't read it yet. Looking forward to it. This one is The Flip Side, a novel by James Bailey. Think about a guy who makes all his romantic decisions with the flip of a coin. So we'll read that one maybe. And then this one's been on my shelf for a while and I'm excited to finally possibly get to it. This is Suzanne Joinson's A Lady Cyclist's Guide to Kashgar. I really don't know what this is about at all. I just pulled it off my shelf because it looked awesome. It is 1923, an Evangeline English keen lady cyclist arrives with her sister Lizzie and their zealous leader Millicent at the ancient city of Kashgar to establish a mission. As they encounter resistance and calamity, Ava commences work on her book, A Lady Cyclist's Guide to Kashgar. In present-day London, it's dual timeline, I love that. In present-day London, another story is beginning. Frida, a young woman adrift in her own life, opens her front door one night to find a man sleeping on the landing. In the morning, he is gone, leaving on the wall an exquisite drawing of a long-tailed bird and a line of Arabic script. As their worlds collide, the two wanderers begin an unlikely friendship, and they embark on a journey that is great and as unexpected as Ava's. That sounds fascinating, and it will fit so well with my read of The Land Beyond. That's the walking one through the Middle East. So I'm really excited that I have that one. Then I've got a straight up mystery. This is the first in a series. I don't know if I'll enjoy the series or not, but I'm going to give it a shot. This is Death at High Tide, an Island Sisters mystery. And I'm not going to read about it. I don't want to know anything else about it. I like the cover. I know it's going to be cozy, and I like that it's set on an island, and I'm just going to go in blind. This is what I'm really excited about. This is the Kew Garden Girls. This is historical fiction about World War I and the women who worked in Kew Gardens when the men had to go to war. And people thought that women couldn't do that kind of work, that it was too heavy for them or whatever. And they really make a go of it and make history, really. So I'm excited about that one. And then we've got The Paris Apartment by Kelly Bowen. Now, there's a lot of books called The Paris Apartment. There are so many books called The Paris Apartment. I could have made just a complete TBR out of books called The Paris Apartment. This is called The Paris Apartment, but it's by Kelly Bowen. And I read last year a collection of short memoir essays about people's relationship, authors' relationship, women authors' relationships to the city of Paris. And one of them was by Kelly Bowen, and I've never read anything by Kelly Bowen. I know they write some mysteries and stuff like that, I think, but they also have some historical fiction. And I was so taken with her voice in that memoir and her relationship with Paris that I ordered myself a copy of this book, and I have not yet read it. So I would like to read it. I'm going to refresh my memory and maybe yours on what it is about. So London 2017, when Aurelia Leclerc inherits an opulent Paris apartment, she is shocked to discover her grandmother's hidden secrets, including a treasure trove of famous art and couture gowns. One obscure painting leads Leah to Gabriel Seymour, a highly respected art restorer with his own mysterious past. Together they attempt to uncover the truths concealed within the apartment's walls. Paris, 1942. The Germans may occupy the City of Lights, but glamorous Estelle Allard flourishes in a world separate from the hardships of war. Yet when the Nazis come for her friends, Estelle doesn't hesitate to help those she holds dear, no matter the cost. As she works against forces intent on destroying her loved ones, she can't know what her actions will have ramifications for generations to come. Set 75 years apart against a perilous and prosperous Paris, both Estelle and Leah must summon hidden courage as they navigate the dangers of a changing world, altering history and their families' futures forever. Another dual timeline. Sounds awesome. Then I have The Paris Connection, which I have to admit I purchased. It was a total impulse buy. It just looks so summery and appealing, and I couldn't resist. This is by Lorraine Brown, and it says that it is It says that when Hannah and her boyfriend Simon set out to Amsterdam, they're confident that they will make it to her sister's wedding in time. However, unbeknownst to them, their train is scheduled to divide in the middle of the night. And when it does, half of it continues the route to Amsterdam, and the other half, the one with Hannah in it, heads 300 miles away to Paris. So I'm going to stop reading there, but that just sounds glorious. And then finally, I have You Lucky Dog by Julia London. And this says that an accidental dog swap unleashes an unexpected love match. That's all I need to know. I'm fairly certain the dogs survive this one. So yeah, gonna read that possibly. Those are my summer reads, my summer possibility reads, and my Jane Austen July reads. But then I've also got to prioritize the books that I would normally read during this month. Of those, there are a lot. First of all, there's Bean's Big Book Bash read, which is Larry McMurtry's Lonesome Dove. I am looking forward to this one. It is about twice as long as Thornbirds, I think. Yeah, this is 858 pages. So it's not quite twice as long as Thornbirds, but it's close. And I'm looking forward to reading this one. I don't read a lot of Westerns. I'm a little bit familiar with the storyline, but not much. Like, I couldn't name a character for you if I tried. But I do remember as a teen, watching some of the television series that came out with my dad, but I wasn't paying that much attention. So I'm curious to know how much I actually do know and how much I don't. Gonna read this one. feels like a good month for it too. That feels like a good summer read to me. My Agatha Christie for the month is The 450 from Paddington. I know nothing about it. I'm going into that one happily blind. My Shakespeare for the month is The Merchant of Venice. This happens to be one of my favorite plays by Shakespeare, especially to teach. There's so much that you can unravel about anti-Semitism in the Elizabethan period. And so I really look forward to another read of that. And then I have my reread for the month, which is also for me a very summery book. The first time I read it, the only time I read it, was during a summer. This is Daphne du Maurier's debut novel, and it's called The Loving Spirit. It's about a family of shipmakers, and I am excited to reread this one. Woo! I have my ALA Recommends book. I haven't read one for a couple of months because they're really, I'm running out of ones that look interesting to me, but also I had so many books roll over from my February TBRs that I kind of cut back on them. This month I have one American Library Association recommends book to read. It feels like a great summer read to me. This is Short Nights of the Shadow Catcher, The Epic Life and Immortal Photographs of Edward Curtis by Timothy Egan. And this, I think, would be great to read in conjunction with Lonesome Dove. And then I have, finally, 3 books that I will read because I got them for my birthday book haul, and I've worked them onto this particular TBR. They are Mariana by Monica Dickens. Monica Dickens is, of course, related to Charles Dickens. Last year I had my love affair with Charles Dickens, reading all of his books, and I am curious to know what a family member of his would write about and what style of writing she might have. And also, the Persephone classic copy of this book is just beautiferous. Then I have E.H. Young's Miss Mole. This is about a governess, and I am really interested in reading this, mostly because that cover is so much fun. And finally, Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris, and this also includes Mrs. Harris Goes to New York by Paul Gallico. This, I think they're making a movie version of this. So I actually had planned on reading this later in the year, but I pulled it up and switched some things around so that I was reading this now, because I think there is a film version out or coming out very soon of Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris, and I would enjoy seeing that after I have read the book. Also, this just feels like such a summer vibe to me, and thinking of all of the books that I have in that summer fiction stack and also in the nonfiction stack that take place in France or Paris, Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris sounds like the perfect addition. So there you have it. 28 books that I may or may not read in the month of July, and I am very excited about them as I present them to you. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll definitely read that one. Oh yeah, I'll definitely read that one. Oh yeah, I'll definitely read that one. I don't know what I'll actually read. But that's the hope, and those are the books that I will be keeping easily accessible. And yeah, I think definitely at the July wrap-up, you should tune in to see what I actually read, because the stack that I actually read may look totally different. As I begin to pack all that stuff back there, I may just find books that I just instantly feel like reading because I'm pulling them off the shelf and touching them for the first time in a while. So my goal is to keep reading through the move and through the summer, but to make sure that what I'm reading is really pleasurable to me, really interesting, really life-affirming. I know that's a theme for my June TBR, but it also, I think all summer is going to be a theme. Just really people-focused, relationship-focused, opening broad vistas, cultural, thinking about culture and people. That's what I'm going to focus on. And humor maybe also as I look at the stack. there is quite a bit of rom-com in here. And that makes me happy. And also, I will definitely prioritize those Jane Austen July picks. And that is the stack that could change the most, because I think Katie will release the prompts before I have to pack the bookshelves. And so I will definitely make amendments to the stack as needed if I have things on my shelf. I'm not going to purchase anything this year for Jane Austen July. Maybe next year. Yeah, this is what I got. This is what I'm going to read. I think. Maybe not. We'll see. The next time you see a TBR video, I'll be in my new home. How exciting. Until then, let's go read.